Hiya. I felt an urge to just come and do some splodges and things because I finished work today and my mood was just a bit meh. I'm not really sure why, I kind of feel like I've been working from home and my energy levels have been a little bit out of whack. So I don't really kind of feel like I want to do some painting of some sort. But what I'm doing at the moment is just making some marks. This is quite satisfying. So I'm not even really planning anything. It just feels there's something in my sort of energy system that I don't know very much about energy systems because I'm not kind of really a scientist or anything, but it's a feeling about it that feels quite blocked and feels quite stuck really, and quite I think sluggish is a good word. So whilst and actually kind of feel I think sluggish, but also sluggish in terms of energy, and doing this is making me kind of have a little bit more energy back. So it feels not even really looking at those, but it kind of feels I'm going to slow down a little bit, almost a bit angsty. So there was something really going on for me there, and sometimes it's hard to describe in words what sort of emotional feelings are going on, or if there's like a physical sensation that could be connected to thoughts and feelings and experiences. Sometimes it's just not necessary to give them words, maybe not even possible. So something there about I've literally used pastels, and that feels kind of really quite refreshing. I've just had a chance to almost like offload, a little bit like getting some of the emotions out. So then kind of don't know what's going on with this brush, it kind of feels a bit hard. So just thinking about just some different brush strokes. So I was planning a while ago on making a video about some art techniques. Now my style of art is quite variable really. It used to be a lot of textures, a lot of kind of mark making, but not so much the colour. So my art background is textiles, like specifically constructed textiles. So I went to Dundee University up in Scotland, and wow, I feel really old because I graduated 20 years ago, which wow. So back then I was doing more textiles and sort of a fine art based textiles approach. So there was a lot of pattern work, there was a lot of tapestry and weave, but not so much colour. And you know what? Some things changed. So in the time between then, I've had 11 years being an art teacher, and then now 3 years or so being an art therapist. And something really has changed within me, that I'm a bit more sort of inspired to grab the paint and work with a bit of colour. Think about the kind of marks like that are there still. So this still kind of feels I'm just working with a brush, but some of these paintings just kind of wanting to show different ways of being and working. I've just been working with the thick brush with these. So then what my original idea was to work onto the black card. Think about kind of a bit of colour onto black and see how that would feel, how that would look. Yeah, see. It was one of the paintings that I made quite recently that sort of, I'd have to try and find it to kind of show people, but it was a piece that was created from like the leftovers of paint. So all I did was just scrape my palette knife on the edge of this piece of paper. And someone commented, I actually really quite like that. It's like, oh, well, maybe there's a possibility that it could develop into something, which felt quite refreshing to have a piece of art, something that was not planned as anything of a project, but a piece of art that was a happy accident, so to speak, created into something else. So they're the kind of things that I enjoy. So literally developing something from nothing. So if you've ever used a palette knife before, then you'll know kind of that sort of flat surface, flat edge of the palette knife. I mean, this is just, I think that's about 5 centimeters, 2 inch, but you'll sort of understand how it might be quite smooth on the feel, smooth to feel in your hands. Building that up, you can scratch into things. Sometimes it's just the sound. Sometimes just the sound of the end of the brush or the paintbrush gives about a sense of satisfaction. So we'll go for some different brushes, different marks, different brush strokes, a little bit of white to contrast. Just going to bring in like a bit of a smoother line. So when I started, this is what I think is one of the magic things about art, and how the transformational qualities of it. Because when I started and when I planned to make art, I was feeling quite uptight, and I think I'd settled a little bit by the time I'd set up the space and got the brushes out and everything, but I was still feeling a little bit uptight. But now, sort of much more relaxed. I feel like things are flowing. So if you've ever painted and kind of noticed that difference in your mood or in your kind of body, like notice how kind of feelings are in your body just from changing kind of the way that you painted. Yeah. It's starting to get dark now, so you still hear the birds, but it's starting to get dark, and been amazing because the weather at the moment has been like super warm. I think it was maybe something the news has said that it was the warmest April on record. So I've not really noticed because I've been working inside, but you kind of get a chance to go outside and really notice that. You can start to kind of do a bit of doodling. So some of those other shorter videos that I was doing earlier were about doodling, and doodling with kind of a pen or a pastel or something. But actually, doodling with paint can just be the same sort of thing, really. Like, sometimes some abstract art might kind of feel like it's just a wobble or a scribble, but it really is a bit more to it. I think what I might do with this is a little bit more of the scratching, and then start to let it dry, and then start to work in with some chalks. It feels to me like I don't want to overdo it. I want to kind of starting to look at the aesthetics now, actually. Before it was very much cathartic, get the brush strokes down, and still is a little bit, but yeah, I think. Ooh, so you could do, this is another favourite of mine, just using a lid